The Olympics are coming up this summer, but did you know that today is the 120th anniversary of the Olympics being held in the United States for the first time? And it happened not far from us here, taking place in Missouri. Here to share more is celebrity historian Rafi Andonian. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Of course, great to be here on the anniversary.
Yes.
As you point out, 120 years ago, exactly.
How cool is that?
Yep.
Yes. So talk to me, how did the first American Olympics end up in Missouri?
Missouri stole them. St. Louis in particular was behind this effort. And so originally the 1904 Olympics were going to be held in Chicago. But at the same time, there was a World's Fair that St. Louis was holding in 1904. And so as part of the World's Fair, what Missouri tried to do, Missouri and St. Louis together, is they tried to create, they actually did create athletic events to take place at the World's Fair. When they created athletic events, it created a competition for the Olympics. So it kind of forced the Olympic Committee, which was kind of a baby organization at the time, to say, you know what, we don't want that competition, fine, we'll take the Olympics down to St. Louis and kind of make it interspersed with the World's Fair. So they kind of forced that situation and took it. Now what's fascinating is, because the World's Fair was several months, the Olympics, unlike today, it actually lasted several months. Like it kind of was dispersed over the course of a period of time. And being here in the United States for the first time, now there's the third Olympics, the third modern Olympics overall, but the first time in the United States, it made it so European nations had a hard time to get here. Remember, they don't really have passenger flights at the time, right? So, for example, I mean, the Wright brothers, they just barely had their first flight ever a few months before all this is taking place. So it's not easy to get around. So a lot of European nations didn't show up. And as a result, the United States cleaned up medals. They really did have more than 200. That's right. and as I did when I was a child, not at the Olympics, but these are my medals from when I was a kid doing track and field. That's right. That's right. But what's really interesting about that too, that carries to today, there was some controversy because Americans, some of the United States athletes were actually were immigrants and not quite citizens yet of the U.S. And so as a result, and there you're seeing some images from some early Olympics, that's right. And what's funny about that is that because they weren't quite citizens of the U.S., some people thought the medals should be attributed to European countries, even though they were U.S. residents, but not quite citizens. That debate has taken place into the 2010s, believe it or not. Some countries in Europe still try to claim some of those medals from back in 1904 because of what the situation we're talking about. So all of that happens right here locally as a result of what's happening. Now, what's really fascinating also is you not only had men's events, but you also had a couple of women's events, and they were in boxing and archery. Archery was like an official event. Boxing was more for exhibition, but it is one of the original Greek events. So it's kind of interesting to think about even what's going on from a gender standpoint at that time.
Certainly so. Well, thank you so much for being with us this morning. Yes, we'll wave our little flag, and we'll be right back with more news and weather right after this.